What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Once again, we're back with Sports with Ray. It's episode 16. Getting close to the holidays. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's the holiday season, so, some people love it. Some people don't like it. It's definitely, it's wild, it's a wild time for some people. I realized that I'm going to be grilling. It's a tradition that me and my family usually do. My brother-in-law, my sister, we started grilling in 2012 in Ohio. It was like 20 degrees. We were kind of tired of the same old SOS, basically. The same thing that you cook for Thanksgiving, you end up cooking for Christmas. So we tried to switch it up. And so we did it every year until I moved out of Ohio in 2018. And, and I've been down south ever since then. So we had a conversation. My brother-in-law was just basically saying, nah, man, you need to continue that tradition. We gonna grill up here, you grill down there. So even though me and my little sister, little Jazz, I think she's grilled. We've grilled on Christmas before, but I'm gonna get a grill and just a couple turkey burgers, just a couple things on there just to do it. And then also I'm gonna make my Alfredo. I made it a month or two ago. It was slamming. It's a shrimp, crab meat, and cut up chicken tenders. With the Alfredo, and it's baked. It's phenomenal. So I'll probably be posting a couple pictures and things from Christmas Day, or the Christmas season. So I hope everybody's having a good one. Definitely, people that lost people. Shout out to my homeboy, Dason. Rest in peace to my homeboy, Nick Sherman. A lot of people's going through it, man. So I just give my prayers and love. Just I always appreciate every day. You know what I'm saying? For real. Also, new beginnings in 2023. I see a lot of people going through stuff. It's been a lot of crazy things that's going on as far as social media, with cases, as far as with entertainers and everything like that. But I'll reserve all that for the Wit Rei report. And so I've been, in essence, BSing with the Wit Rei report. I've been trying to make it too perfect, so we'll just be going back to basics. There will be episodes dropping in 2023 in early January. This is the sports podcast, of course. The Wit Rei report will range. It'll be a little more diverse. So there'll be more things to talk about. But it will be on the Wit Rei channel, on this YouTube channel. And also you'll be able to access it through all my social media handles as well. So just real quick, I just wanted to talk to everybody. I know everybody's busy with the holiday season and all that good stuff. Just with the NFL, I just noticed, and I've said it before, they're trying so hard. When there's a push for certain players, it's so obvious and evident, and I get it, it'll make for good TV, but it always seems to ignore or disrespect someone else within doing it. So they, of course, have been pushing. I mean, Mahomes probably just is boring at this point because he's running the AFC, quote unquote. I mean, he's been to the AFC Championship every year since he started. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's crazy, actually. But the, the team that had taken him out of the AFC Championship game was the Cincinnati Bengals, not the Buffalo Bills, who they continuously talk about. They continuously push the Josh Allen and then Justin Herbert. It's almost like they want those two quarterbacks to elevate over Patrick Mahomes, which I understand. I mean, sometimes when things get stale and stagnant, and people want to be the first one to say, "I told you so." Be on the lookout for so and so. So I get it. I get it. But Patrick Mahomes is leading his division. Josh, I mean, he did beat Kansas City, at home finally. But there's a guy by the name of Joe Burrow that's beat Kansas City 3 times this calendar year. And it's literally because of the stigma and the stench that has always surrounded the Cincinnati Bengals throughout the years, where it seems like people do not want to give them their just due. I mean, Buffalo was not as bad. I mean, Buffalo, if you think about it, in the last 35 years, they're mostly known for going to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and losing. But they did have a great team. So to be great, you have to be great to go to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row. I mean, that's just what it is. So there's more of a identification of success, even though both teams have struggled, in like the last 20 years. But for some reason, they don't want to give Cincinnati the credit that they deserve. I mean, Cincinnati can play. Well, Cincinnati is going to play Buffalo, I think January. I want to say January 2nd, or is it New Year's Day? I think it's New Year's Day. And so I just don't get, they beat Kansas City. They beat Kansas City earlier this year at the end of the regular season. Then went to Kansas City and did what Buffalo couldn't do and beat them in the AFC Championship game. And then still everybody's just like, well, it's not an issue even if they lose. But I know for a fact when it was Buffalo couldn't beat Kansas City, as soon as Buffalo beat Kansas City this year, it was like, okay, well, he got over the hump. But for some reason, when Joe Burrow is the only one that has the upper hand on Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, because they know how to play them, it's still, they don't get the benefit of the doubt. And I just don't understand. But and it's because of out of the Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow looks the most regular as a human being. Everybody else has a hollister for an arm. They can really sling it, even though Joe can too. But, if you look at it, if you want to be real, Joe had the hardest task. Joe had to uplift. I'm not saying he did it by himself, but out of all the quarterbacks, Joe had to uplift a whole franchise known for being feudal and mediocre. And his first year, you could tell, okay, he was on to something, and tore his ACL. His second year, they go to the Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines ever. His third year, they're only talking about who has home field advantage between Buffalo, who's the number 1 seed, and Kansas City, who's the number 2 seed. And lo and behold, who's the number 3 seed? Buffalo and Kansas City are 11-3. Cincinnati is 10-4. And if they beat Buffalo, that means they'll have the tiebreaker over Buffalo and Kansas City. So everybody is going back and forth saying, hey, is either the road through the AFC is going to run through either Kansas City or Buffalo. I'm predicting, and I could be wrong, the road to the AFC is going to run through the Natty. And everybody's talking about you don't want to play in Kansas City. Cincinnati already did that. You don't want to play in Buffalo. That's true. But you don't want to play in Cincinnati either. Because one thing, the jungle goes crazy. Kansas City they all have great home field advantages. But I don't feel like Cincinnati is getting their just due, which is crazy. So be on the lookout. So that's my prediction. Cincinnati is going to steal home field advantage. And then we'll see how that goes. Go to the NFC. Of course, I'm a Bears fan, I don't know what we're doing. I mean, it's not what we're doing. We're just devoid of talent. Justin played without the four top receivers. The Bears are giving everybody a game, and then the lack of talent or certain decisions or certain play calling, it's almost like I would never say the fix is in, but they just, like a lot of these games, I mean, we've lost like 7 or 8 in a row. And most of them are one-score games. At the beginning of the year, we had a top 10 defense, and then we traded away our 2 best players on defense. We couldn't score at all after losing to the Redskins 12-7 and that mini bye week. They've scored. They were leading the league in the month of, was that October? Going into November, something like that. They had a 4-week stretch where they led the league in scoring. So now they're scoring, but now the defense is atrocious. And then unfortunately, Eddie Jackson went down for the season. Now Jack Sanborn, who replaced Roquan Smith, he's on IR. Khalil Herbert may be coming back. Justin Fields, I mean, the pundits that keep saying he's a running quarterback, never seen him play. I understand he's doing it out of necessity. He's doing it because he doesn't have the talent around him, offensive line-wise and skill position-wise. Now, there are easy throws that he needs to make, but there are also a lot of easy throws that they need to catch, which I've been watching all year. Not to excuse them. Like some of those a lot of QBs, they'll do the check downs. The majority of QBs, they're able to go and do the check downs. So they'll have the 15 for 25 for 104. But you can see it looks like they're able to read coverage because they'll get the ball off quickly to their first and second reads, He goes through his reads as well. He just may sometimes miss underneath to try to go somewhere else. But he'll go through his reads as well. And as he's getting more comfortable and more familiar with the system, you can see the drastic improvement. But he was out playing Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was having a bad game anyway. But Jalen Hurts found a way to do what he has been doing this year. Came through and delivered. Looks like he hurt his shoulder in the process. Looks like it's going to be a game time decision because, they'll say doubtful earlier in the week, and then by Saturday, Sal Pal, Sal Pal's on every story in Philadelphia, and I know exactly why, and it's none of my business to say, but salute Sal Pal. Yeah, Philly is his. But Sal Pal, he'll probably give us an updated status, or, along with, I was going to say Adam Sandler, Adam Shefty. You know what I'm saying? So they'll give us an update. Dallas and Philly play this weekend. The game that's been really anticipated. I don't think Jalen should play. Honestly, get well. Dak didn't play. They don't really need this game. Dallas needs this game. And so I wouldn't play him. I'll let him recover. That would give him, because one, you're coming on a short week. That'll at least give him a whole close to 2 weeks to see how he feels. And then just kind of go from there. So, but, as far as the NFC, of course, you have Philly that's in first place. The Vikings are in second place. The Vikings, nobody believes in them because of Kirk Cousins' past, which is a very fair point. I don't believe in them either. So, they have a lot of holes that can be had. But you also have to give them credit for winning games that they were losing, winning those close games. So usually a couple things usually happens with that. So it's either going to be that's their mantra, they just find a way to win, or it's going to come back to bite them. So one of the two things that's going to happen. So we'll definitely see. I mean, shout out to the Vikings, I guess. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody in our division. That's the Bears. But they're definitely in second. Everybody knows the team to watch out for is San Francisco. San Francisco and Philly, to me, are bad matchups to the Dallas Cowboys because Dallas is a finesse. They're almost built like the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning is a way better Dak, and they had way better way better repertoire as far as at the skill positions. And, I mean, defensively, of course, it's that if Dallas can get up, they're able to run the ball, they can control the clock and everything like that. They can make the opposing team one-dimensional. That allows Lawrence and Michael Parsons to get after the quarterback, and that allows for their playmakers in the secondary to make plays. That's the go-to. But when you got a team that can eat clock and you can't stop the run, which Dallas can't stop the run, they're turnover dependent. Teams like San Francisco, who beat them last year, we'll see how Purdy does. Purdy looks like he's prepared, but it's always different when those lights come on in the playoffs. Some people are just built like that. I mean, some people it'll be a great story to hear if he's able to just come off the bench and lead that team to a Super Bowl. Everybody keeps saying everybody can do it. No, they can't. Everybody can't do it. Sometimes that team wins in spite of their QB. This may be a situation they can win with the addition or because of their QB. So that'll be something to watch. If the Commanders had a better QB, they would be dangerous because they're getting Chase Young back. And also, be on the watch out for Detroit because Detroit, when you see teams that play hard and then it starts to turn into wins and they're peaking right now, those are the type of teams that you do not want to face. Jared Goff, I have my doubts about him, but he's balling. You know what I'm saying? Dan Campbell, that team believes in him. They started off 1-7. They won like 6 of 7, if I'm correct. Or because I think they're 7-7. So if they were 1-7, they must have won 5 out of their last. Hold on, 1-7, 5 out of, or 7 out of. Hold on, 1-7. That's 8 to 6 games. Maybe they were 1-6. I just know they're 7-7. My math ain't mathing right now, and I ain't even doing nothing like drugs or nothing like that. I'm just really messing up. But yeah, so they started off terrible, and they've won. They've been on a winning streak, and shows character with the team. So salute to them. We'll shoot the basketball. I'm even looking at a game right now. You got the number 1 seed, and Memphis going against the number 2 seed, and Denver. Jokic had a game recently where he had 40 points, 27 rebounds, and 10 assists. Jokic, that MVP race is really going crazy right now between Jokic, Giannis, Tatum. Joel Embiid is in there as well. It's really going crazy. It's just been so much interaction. There's a lot of moving pieces going on in the league. Steph's injured his shoulder, could be out anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. I don't like to call him street clothes because that was one of my favorite players. AD was balling, foot injury. He's out for at least a month. Seems like everybody's kind of middling in the pack. And Kawhi is getting healthy now. You can see the Clippers rounding into form. Sacramento still holding on to a playoff spot. Golden State's 11 right now. And they got blew out by the Knicks, who've won 7 games in a row. The Knicks are like the 6th seed. The team that everybody wanted to write off earlier in the year, the Brooklyn Nets, who started off terrible, they're the 4th seed. They've won 6 in a row. Boston's come back to earth a little bit. Jason Tatum sat out a game or two. Milwaukee's now the best team in the league. Giannis is the best player in the league. But KD is the most talented player in the league. All I know was turmoil and mess, and they had a terrible record. Got rid of their coach. A lot of stuff was happening, and they turned that around so much that you don't even hear about them. Now, if that was somebody that the media liked, that would be what they would call leadership. Holding the fort down, stabilizing the team no matter everything that was happening. Players injured, not being in and out the lineup. They would just say, hey, this person, this is where leadership is. You saw where they were at, and you can see where their team is going now. But for some reason, because all that little bus driver BS, nobody wants to talk about it. Or if anything, all they'll say is, well, this is where they're supposed to be. This is what I expected out of them. No, you didn't. Everybody said they didn't have any faith in them because of all the things that happened. And I'm not saying they're there yet, but I'm just saying within a month, they went from having a terrible record to being 4th on their way up in the conference, which is deemed maybe as the hardest conference right now. And nobody's giving any credit to anybody in Brooklyn. Go figure. As far as defensive players, Brook Lopez, I was just kind of listening. Brook Lopez has been solid. His transformation, he's not the most agile, but the way they play defense, they funnel it to where Giannis and Brook always are going to guard the paint. And he does an excellent job of being a big man that does not allow anybody to get in there. So shout out to them. Giannis has been my favorite player, so it is what it is. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. People are just, they're jockeying for position while trying to get people healthy. They always say this is usually the dog days of the NBA season, December, January. They're fed up by February by the All-Star game. So we're going to see how the grind goes. They got that time this year. There was no consecutive season starting 65, 66 days and all that stuff. No season ending in July and then starting. Like, they got their full amount of time. So we'll really see how it goes. I'll definitely have more on this. Just wanted to tap in with everybody real quick. Just want to thank you for just listening to me just spew a little language, a little language, talk a little sports with you. Of course, we're a little bit away from Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. I'll have something on the channel next week that'll be primarily about them. Of course, I'll run through what happened over the weekend as far as the Christmas weekend as well. But other than that, you can catch me on social media, Ray Rob, REIROBB 97. You can catch me on Twitter, IG, Snapchat. Facebook is the Ray Rob Report. But other than that, I appreciate that, man. Thank y'all for everything, man. Y'all have a good one.